and welcome back to the BizTech Expo. Here we are in booth 537 at the fairgrounds, and I have with me Wayne Breitbarth from M&M Office Interiors, also known as our local LinkedIn guru, and not so local because he's actually getting quite the presence for himself on more of a broad base beyond our local community. I want to get back to Wayne here in a minute. So glad to have him here, but we're going to talk a little bit about the top 5 LinkedIn secrets and have a little dialogue on the importance of LinkedIn in your business. Before we get to that, I wanted to share with you, if you're tuning in for the first time to see us through our live stream, our powering partners, Smart Interactive Media. They've been a partner to Nailani Services. That's my firm. And again, I don't think I introduced myself. Deetra Kaifas with Nailani Services. Smart Interactive Media is a fantastic partner when it comes to making sure that all of your video production projects and website projects are done to perfection. Also very much integrated with the apps technology, and so if you need help with them, you absolutely want to get in touch with them right away. We've got some drawing partners for a free drawing that we've got going on here, about $450 worth of value from various partners around the community. Here we've got Kane & Kane Jewelers up in West Bend, right on Highway 33, Washington Street, and Kane & Kane is just an absolutely phenomenal organization. Not just their jewelry line, but the service that they provide is second to none. And Andy Kane, owner of Kane & Kane, has very graciously provided us with a $100 gift certificate to one lucky person who's either down with us or registering online via email, and I'll tell you about that here in a minute. Great guy, great organization, get out there. We also have Renewal by Anderson, some great friends and partners of ours. And actually, if you get down here to the expo, go over to the other side of the floor from where we are. Renewal by Anderson's there. They've got, right over there, they've got a $200 gift certificate toward your next window purchase, and they also provide the installation. And in addition to that, we have Ward's House of Prime downtown Milwaukee. Have you ever eaten over at Ward's?
No, but I've heard it's great.
It is absolutely great.
Can I win that, or because I'm already...
Go put your card in.
You'll let me win?
Go put your card in.
You wouldn't let
I would.
me win.
I would keep you in the drawing.
You just got me on that one.
Okay, Brian. Shout out to Brian. That's the genius behind Ward's.
I can't wait to visit there.
I'm going to send...
Maybe I'll do it free. Maybe I'll pay.
It's worth it. My husband and I celebrated our recent anniversary there, and quite a special night and certainly an excellent meal. So we've got 3 $50 gift certificates towards.
Three times the chance.
3 times the chance.
I'm after it.
Excellent. Get down here to the show, but not until you finish watching our segment, because Wayne's got all the knowledge that you would need to know in regards to LinkedIn. In fact, at some point we've got to talk about your classes. We'll get to that.
Good idea.
Wayne Breitbarth. First of all, I do want to mention Wayne has trained over 100,000. I'm sorry, 10,000. Getting to 100,000. You're getting there.
Yeah.
Over 10,000.
Give me another year for that.
Busy business professionals from every industry, every level of business profession. You've got to get over to see Wayne, but we'll give you a taste of what he has to offer. And to start out, we have some great partners in what they have brought forth for drawing prizes to our guests here in our audience and those who are watching. And Wayne, you offered up a wonderful package for our drawing. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that package?
Oh, thank you for this chance to do this commercial. I appreciate that.
Self-promote.
Well, what do I have for you?
This is good self-promotion.
You're going to love
others.
this. The first 2 parts of my prizes is you get me. Oh yeah, you get me. You
Yes.
can have your very own Wayne party at your house. In other words, you can get my beginner and my intermediate DVD with all my corny jokes and everything else that comes with it. As a matter of fact, if you call me up, I might even come to your Wayne party because I love parties.
Wayne, we're having a party. We're having a party. I have one of these discs. We're having a party.
There you go. I'll be there. Can I bring my wife?
I think you should bring your wife.
She's just as fun, but she's not on LinkedIn.
Does she enjoy wine?
Yes, but she's not on LinkedIn. Can you believe it? Anyway, another story. Anyway, you've got my videos. These are wonderful for training your teams because you can pop them in the video and play a little bit this week for the sales meeting and then next week for another sales meeting and so on. good stuff. Have yourself a Wayne party. But the thing I'm most proud of is our new book. It's our new little baby in the family, Power Formula for LinkedIn Success. It's a book that my wife and I actually wrote together. That's why we call it our new little baby. We have 3 daughters, but this is our new one. And we're really excited about it. It came out March 1st, but get this, Saturday morning, sitting on the sofa at home, I checked the Amazon rankings. I do that a lot.
Oh yes, I'm sure you do.
I was number 2, and we've worked our way up to number 2, but get this. I received one more recommendation on LinkedIn about an hour later. I checked it about 10:30 in the morning, number 1. We became the number 1 LinkedIn book on Amazon.
The power of LinkedIn.
Power Formula for LinkedIn Success.
But the power of LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's
that shows it works.
I mean, it was so cool because I've been waiting to be number 1. We've been stuck at 2 for the longest time. I'm going, darn it, I know we're selling more books than the other guy.
And now we know you
also
are.
Recommendations. Had to do with recommendations. That's what moved it up too. So I'm so excited to be sitting with my wife, the co-author, click it on and go, we did it! We got the number 1. How cool is that?
That's excellent.
Because
now, I have my own copy, and I have been reading, and actually, as I shared with you, a couple of our clients were putting them through the program, and it works. It works. My staff, we have competitions going on right now, gift certificates for those who are achieving the 6 weeks to get you where you need to be with LinkedIn. But we couldn't have done that without you. So we participated in the training with you. We're reading the book.
Cool.
We're participating on every level. If this is your first time of seeing Wayne.
Yeah, my next class is May 24th. Check out my website, powerformula.net to register. You scared me though when you said program. People get nervous. I don't want to do a program.
Oh, it's so simple. Oh goodness, wrong word. Absolutely. This is.
Sounds like some kind
that's
of
what makes it
or something.
good.
Yeah.
That's what makes it good. It's so easy. If I can
Thank
do this,
you.
if I can do this.
People have really said the short chapters, the screenshots, all that things that makes it very engaging and simple, because people don't want to be overwhelmed with this thing.
Yeah,
but thanks for allowing me to talk about our new baby. We really love them. But you know what? Look, you know what little baby is?
Well,
I got to tell you one little baby story.
It's the autographed.
It's the autographed copy.
It's the autographed copy.
But here's what's interesting about all your kids. You know, it takes a long time to have a baby, and it's harder for women than the guys, but it's still hard for both of us. When you have your baby, it's all worth it, right? Just
Absolutely.
like our book. But like your baby, you don't want anybody picking on it until you got baby's got big ears. So if you like my book, write me a recommendation on Amazon. If you don't, keep your mouth shut. That's what I've been telling people.
Who could not like you? In fact, I was going to say, as I was saying, anyone who has not already been to one of your sessions or doesn't know who you are, I don't know where they've been. They've been hiding under a rock because Wayne, you are the man.
Like it? Get this. I came home several weeks ago. First thing I do when I get home is, anybody write recommendations? I asked my wife, she says, don't look. And I said, why? She said, somebody wrote you a 3-star. I don't want you to read it. It's going to ruin your night.
You want 4 stars.
And I said, listen, 5.
5?
Oh, 5.
Somebody gave you a 3?
Somebody gave me a 3. Can you believe it? And I read it. If you read his verbiage, you said, you gave a 3 for that? You hardly said anything bad about it.
You said raving things and you put a 3.
That's just people.
But you know what? They clicked on the wrong star.
I think they did too. But anyway, as an author, you get all off track about something like that.
Oh, goodness.
On we go.
On we go. So, let's start. I want to get down to some of the basics for those who are tuning in with us. And so often I know you hear it. I've been on LinkedIn, but I don't know what to do with it. What are the 5 best practices you can think of for using LinkedIn? And if you have 6, then share the 6th one.
Okay. Well, before I talk about any of the practices, I got to talk about strategy.
Let's start there.
Because too many people are playing around with LinkedIn. They think it's like Facebook. I make connections, and the next thing you know, I boot my computer, and orders will come out of it. It doesn't work that way. You have to say, what am I going to use LinkedIn for? And in order to do that, what's interesting is you really can't do that until you understand how it works. So you really need to either come to a class, read a book, sit down with a good friend of yours that might know how it works. But after one of those 3 things, I think you could say, you know what? I think I could do this and this. Now you develop your strategy and say, I want to meet these kind of people. I want to join these kind of groups because that's where my customers are. All kinds of different strategies. So that's the first thing. The cornerstone of the thing is a strategy. That being said, once you've figured out some strategy or strategies, the things you got to do consistently is you got to make connections. You have to go out and be proactive about the people you're going to add in your network. Number 2, I took some notes here because your questions were so complex. Number 2, you have to have a keyword-filled profile. Everything on the internet's about keywords. And I know people get, Wayne, you're driving me nuts with this keyword thing. I'm sorry. It's just the way it works. You got to know your own keywords, and then you got to use them over and over and over in specific strategic places. I help you with that in the book. Next thing, you got to join groups. Groups are the #2 thing that people say they like about LinkedIn. Joining groups. Joining together with people that think alike, have the same kind of things we do in common, or from the same neighborhood or the same city or whatever.
Education.
Same education.
With our firm, one of the things that we've really focused on is, because we're full service marketing and we're sales training, we have looked for groups that will support those mainframes so that when there are discussions, they're relative to what we're doing and we're advancing our business. So that's a really great point and
sometimes you're in a group to
example.
learn stuff, sometimes you're in a group to be the teacher. Same thing. And my last thing I would recommend is that you help people. Remember, this is not a social media site, it's a social networking site. And in networking equals helping. I know you know that. You and I are out there a lot, out in the world.
And Wayne,
it's
because we know each other that we've come across a number of different opportunities, and LinkedIn was the way that we we know one another.
Very true.
That was that point in which we came to know each other. So I think we are an example. And I really want to get to a point in our conversation here where we can talk about how you can actually make LinkedIn work for a number of different things. So we can
Great.
get
So
to
that was
that.
number 5, but I gave you 6 with strategy.
And I love it. And you know what? Strategy is fantastic,
Okay.
and I think that is important.
Okay.
Number 1. You were talking about connecting with people on LinkedIn. And you're right, it's not Facebook, but on Facebook, you make friends. Do you want to be my friend? Do you want to be my friend? LinkedIn, I know, is about the connections, and we talked about that. Let's talk about some of the other differences and why somebody would be interested in Facebook, but why that's not the platform for your business.
I'll start off by saying I'm not an expert on Facebook. I'm not an expert on Twitter. I'm not an expert on blogging. I'm not an expert on YouTube. I do all 4 of those as part of my business. I'm an expert at LinkedIn. So some of these things I'll share just as a user. But here's what I'll tell you. LinkedIn is the best site for business people. It's where business people decide to come together and not only help, share, and connect, they move forward our business objectives. Now, that being said, Facebook is a really great tool for somebody who's in the business to consumer market. If I'm selling cupcakes or I'm selling books, Facebook's tremendous.
Retail
Business, I think it's really good. And sometimes the retail business can't figure out why they would use LinkedIn. And I can tell you there are some strategies for retail, but they're a little different than those of us in the business-to-business market. So that'd be the first difference, is that LinkedIn is really about business, to the point where some people think it's pretty boring. Some people think it's like, that's really boring over there. There's hardly any fun.
We're not talking about what we had for breakfast.
Exactly. Our dog's name and all that kind of stuff. Because it's just, if you start doing that on LinkedIn, people go, it's a business site. What are you doing? Yeah. And that's the main difference, is that. But I would say what's interesting about all of these things, and now as a learner and a user, they all sort of tie together. YouTube is a fantastic tool to tie all these things together and pop the videos on your LinkedIn profile and your Facebook profile and get people to go from your Twitter account. So they all just sort of work together. They have different audiences and different strategies and different netiquettes.
In fact, the YouTube video brings up a really good point. There's so many different parts to LinkedIn when you create a profile that it allows you really to almost have that one-page website to tell your whole story.
Exactly.
And maybe you can address that a little bit, because I know that's a part of, you were talking about keywords and things, that's a part of your expertise.
Yeah, the 35,000-foot view of LinkedIn is you find people and look at relationships, and you're being found. And the being found part is your profile. And you have to be very strategic about your profile. And the strategy comes up with, what am I trying to accomplish with my profile? What the problem with it is, because it looks like a resume, people just assume, I put the same things I do as my resume, don't I? Well, that's a start.
It's a start.
What I try to teach people now is, you need all that stuff because it's your history and it's your experience, but what in your profile is talking about where you want to go? Are you spending any time going, and this is what my business does now, and this is why we would be a good partner with you, so that when people read that, they go, either that would be a really good partner for me, or they're not, and then that's okay too, right?
And they can qualify based on the information you shared.
So I want people to almost read your profile and go, okay, I see her experience, I understand what she's done, I understand why she might be an expert, and then I also read, you know what? That's just the partner I need. So it's keywords, but past the keywords, it becomes the story. And don't forget, it's a forward-looking story, not just back in all the stuff that you did.
And the idea of being able to have solid recommendations, I know, has been something incredibly passionate for you in this LinkedIn mission.
Recommendations are critical in this whole social media world. And even just like with your website, if you think about it, how business has changed in our careers is back in the old days, somebody wanted to buy office furniture, they'd talk to all 10 of us, they'd get our catalogs, they'd talk to our salespeople, and they'd have some interviews, and then the next thing you know, they'd cut a few out, we'd get down to 5, and then we get 3, and then we get to 1. Well, it's a process of getting down to 1. The process can now be done online a significant amount of time. There's recommendations, there's profiles, there's all these sites where
I don't even have to leave my home sometimes to make a decision of who I want to talk to.
We like to do that stuff ourselves, right? We truly like to do that stuff ourselves, and people are doing that stuff themselves. And so if you're in the space of there's 10 competitors, and I want to at least get to 3 so I can propose and win, and you're wondering why you're not getting called, it's because your online identity, LinkedIn, Facebook, your own website,
even your website,
is not saying enough to get you into that 3.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that's the change in this whole online economy, is that people are making decisions to toss people out of a decision process
before they even got up to bat.
Right, before you ever get to introduce them to the best salesperson you got.
Yeah.
It's a little late for that.
Yeah.
So I think people are waking up and going, why am I not getting called anymore? It's because your online presence story, or you just don't even have one.
I have a question for those of us who are here in our live audience. And for you tuning in, you can answer too. How many of you have a LinkedIn profile right now? Raise your hand. Okay, so we've got an audience that gets it. Very nice. We want to make sure everybody gets in frame.
Ask them the other questions. Here's the other. 100 connections or not? Over 100. 100 connections or not? We got it. Oh, good. Oh, see, we got some no's. How about 100% profile done? See, that's what falls off. See,
yeah,
so what we got is we got people
down.
that are on. We got some people that are on, but they need to go to the next level. And those are just 2 of the things that I recommend in my book that are like, if you don't have those done, you're really not getting there.
Yeah, we've got some work to do. For those who either got partway into the process and then for whatever reason they didn't get to 100% profile, or those who haven't quite taken that step to actually log in and see what this is all about. How hard is it to get a profile put together?
Good question. Here's what I would say. It's funny. I would have to almost say, what age are you? Because I'm
definitely not in my 20s.
And I'm telling you, the 20s and 30-year-olds, this is not even hard. As a matter of fact, what I hate to admit is, they probably don't even need my book.
Yeah.
It's because they do this stuff and they're not afraid. They click here, they click there. I don't know. You and I, if I click the wrong place, will it break?
Yeah.
Right?
I was even like it with Facebook. My kids had their profiles. They were telling me all about it, and I was saying, oh, I don't need that. That's just...
And so that's why I got to say, is it hard?
LinkedIn was a whole other step.
It's not hard for that age group. For the rest of us, it's not hard once you engage. Once you make the commitment, you know what? I'm doing this thing. I have to do something different in my business because I'm not getting results. Then it's easy. I'm telling you, this book was written for this intent. Get on an airplane in Milwaukee, since that's where we're all from. We fly 3 hours to Los Angeles, 2 hours to Dallas, 2 hours to Boston. It's meant to be that read, so that you read it all the way through, you land and go, I got it. Now, you might not still do it, but at least you know what it could do for you.
That's the chapter. I've told you this before, Wayne. The chapter I love most, let me find it here. I want to make sure I tell everybody what page it is because you guys need to mark this. The bonus chapter. No, that's the bonus. That's a good chapter too. The bonus chapter.
If we have time, I'll tell you a story about the bonus chapter.
Tell the story, and then we'll come back to my favorite.
The story is this: we sent all our chapters into the publisher, including the college chapter. It's just for college students. Publisher says that we love your book, we want to accept it and all this, but we're going to drop the college chapter. And I said, oh, you got to be kidding me. These students need this thing. We know, but here's the deal. That's not your audience, Wayne. Your audience is experienced business people. So whenever we have tried to market a book to 2 separate audiences, it filters down the one you're trying to get to. And I said, oh, I'm not going to give up that easy. I said, it was a Friday. I said, you give me the weekend to rethink this chapter before I say I agree with you. So here's what I did. I switched it.
Brilliant.
I switched it from, hi, Mr. College Student, here's a book for you, to, hi, you're a parent. You have a college student. Why don't you read this and then give it to your kid because he needs it?
You know what's genius about that? If mom and dad paid for that college education, you better believe they want their kid to have a job when they walk down.
Well, and the story I opened with that I added to try to get it bought by the publisher was this. I said, I'm a dad of 3 daughters. I love them all. I've had big days in our life, right? The day they were born and the day they went to kindergarten, the day they had a crappy boyfriend, right? All that stuff. But the biggest day as a dad ever was when my oldest daughter walked in and says, Dad, I got great news for you. I got a full-time job with Benny's. Yes, your kid needs this book to find their full-time job with Benny's. And the publisher said, we love it. We think it's genius. And they kept left
and
it
it
in.
is, and it is. It's a fantastic
chapter. So I just
chapter.
twisted it around so that it was to be given then to the student.
And you know what? If mom and dad give it to them and say, look, we're paying for this education,
Yeah,
I'm guessing they might do
right?
it. Well, they might. And
So,
we'll use that as
what's your chapter?
my favorite chapter, chapter 19, page 145. Ready, set, go. And this is a 6-week, 2-hour per week roadmap to results. This here. Takes you a couple hours to read this. That's the roadmap.
You know why I'm laughing? I'm
love
laughing
it.
about this. That chapter was an afterthought. I kid you not. And I have gotten more comments. And national reviewers go, and it's a great book and blah, blah. And it's got this great chapter. And I look at my wife and say, can you believe we almost didn't put that chapter in the book? And look at you and a million others.
That's the action.
I know. Isn't that so cool?
You get so excited about something and then you go, so now what do I do?
I was almost saying, how can I get some more pages in this baby? It's only 150 pages. What else do we got sitting around? And here it was. I had that.
I love it. I gotta love you. You know, we talked a little bit about the different reasons why somebody's going to use LinkedIn. And for any business, and of course, where we do training to sales professionals, how can those that are responsible for generating revenues use LinkedIn to prospect?
Okay, that's the number one use. That's the number one place that if you're a sales guy or gal and you want to prove to your boss you ain't wasting time on LinkedIn, you want to use this tool that I'm going to share with you. And what that is, that's the advanced people search. And it's as simple as this. On the screen, up in the right-hand corner, very top right, there's a word advanced. You click it. What you then get is a potpourri of boxes that you can decide to pick criteria of the kind of person you want to meet. And all it is sort of like this. Your LinkedIn friend goes, who do you want to find today, Dietra? And you say, well, I'd like to find some presidents of companies that are in the manufacturing world in Milwaukee. And I say, well, I can help you with that. I'm LinkedIn. You put president in the title, you put Milwaukee in the zip code, and then you write manufacturing in the keyword, and you push the button. And there'll be several hundred. And then you say to yourself, okay, great, now I got this list. What do I do with it? What you do with it is you start looking at those names, looking at their profile, but then look at the little number next to the name. And hopefully you got a whole bunch of number 2s, because a number 2 means you got one friend that can introduce you to those people.
In the door.
You're good to go.
And in that advanced search, I know that you had shared recently in one of the sessions that I was privileged to be a part of, you put those quotation marks around that description of president, and rather than getting vice president or the additional titles that might include the word president, it'll narrow it direct down to exactly what you've typed in.
You've got to know how to use Boolean search rules. I put a whole chapter in my book. It's B-O-O-L-E-A-N, for those of you who don't know. You better be good at that, or you're going to be frustrated with some of the searching. And what's weird about Boolean search rules is our kids know how to do Boolean search rules. They never took any class on Boolean search rules. But we need a class, or we need a chapter, because this stuff is not intuitive.
So, and you bring up a good point, and that's why I kind of wanted to share that, because that was an aha moment for me. I've been on LinkedIn for a little while now. I have over 500.
Congratulations, super user.
And we use it. Actually, I just realized somebody shared with me that they had sent me an invite and I haven't accepted it. And I started thinking, well, maybe I just haven't been on there in a little while.
Well, you're doing all this stuff. You don't have time for linking in right now. You're selling
stuff.
I
think the last time I was in there, I'm going to have to go back now and accept that invitation, because I realized he was probably a couple of people down that I'm still trying to research to figure out, how do I know this person and do I know them? And this is a really key point to the things that you share, and I think it's critical in being effective in your LinkedIn success. is that trust factor.
You are so right. And I was glad to hear you say you go through a process to decide who to connect with. Now, some of the people are going to be easy because you'll get them and they're your friends and you're good to go. But if somebody's not already your friend, and I use the word trust because LinkedIn used the word trust, there still may be reasons to connect with some people. And the reason might be because I should know them.
I should know them.
In other words, you get an invitation from somebody and you go, oh my goodness, I don't know this person yet. Look at their profile. I got to have a cup of coffee with them, and maybe you should start by me saying, I accept. Here's some dates I could have the coffee.
Let's get together.
So my strategy with connecting is, in the very beginning, know everybody. And the reason I say that is because I don't want you to get spammed and marketed to until you get it. Because it's going to frustrate you. You might go, I'm out of here.
Be the turn off and you never get to see what the true value
with people
is.
You know, love, and care about, trust, and then start to venture into some of the people that you should know. And you're going to find there's a lot of marketing punch by moving past those friends, but it comes with some risk of maybe somebody might call your friend and say something. You don't know, right? Because you don't know these people.
And that's the caution.
Right.
Obviously, we know how we can use, we've talked a little bit about how we can use LinkedIn to connect with those that we want to do business with, okay? But in business, sometimes we need, for personal and professional reasons, a vendor to help us. Tell us how we can also use it to help us in multiple facets of our lives.
Okay. Advanced people search. It still goes back to, who do you want to meet? You want to find employees? You want to find vendors? You want to find suppliers? You want to find new board members? You want to find foundations for your nonprofit? Yesterday I taught a class to nonprofits. They all wanted to find grant writers. So I just put grant writing in the title in the Milwaukee area. I got a list of 85 grant writers for the nonprofit executives that they should try to contact. So it doesn't matter who or what the person does. It's a great people finding machine.
Fantastic. I've heard a lot of how business professionals are using LinkedIn to find their next job. I think it's important, and I'd like to talk to you about how that can work in reverse.
The reverse is this. If you think about it, in our careers, this is the first time we have a database on the internet that has over 100 million resumes on steroids profile of people that are looking and aren't looking. And so if you think about it, we've never had that. We might have this job board, that job board, or this list, or whatever.
Or resumes because somebody's desperate, right. They're out of work, and that's why they're looking.
And we got a chance now to go out and once again do advanced people search to go, I'm looking for an accountant that's been in the manufacturing world that also knows how to run this certain set of software. You put all those words in Milwaukee, put all those words in, plus Milwaukee, and guess what? Because somebody's put those words in their profile, there they are.
There they are.
Ready to go. I met with a group of HR people yesterday, and I said to them, tell me about your LinkedIn experience and what you're doing. What I just explained was the number one use. You know what the second one was? Using the status update box to ask their network if they know anybody. I'm telling you, everybody in that room, I said, how many are you using that? Everybody goes, that status update box is a wonderful tool to say, hey network, I got a need, and it's an employee. You might have a friend that needs that job. And then
spread the word. The
extra twist to that is this. The newest thing on LinkedIn is a little word called like. Those of us on Facebook know the like word. I hate to say it because it has to do with Facebook, but on LinkedIn it works like this. Let's say you're looking for an employee, and you got Wayne, I got how many connections? 500-ish?
500.
Okay,
yeah.
So you put it out to your 500 people and say, I'm looking for this and this and this. So those 500 people might see it, right? But if you call me and say, hey Wayne, this is really important to me. Do me a favor. When you see that come across your status,
like it.
Hit the like for me. Now, 2,200 people, many of them not your friends, get to read that job posting. How strong is that?
That's fantastic. And that is the concept of that network, that it's bigger than even the 2, 4, 10, 500 people that you start out and then you build up of your own personal contacts. It's who are their contacts. And
I know this stuff can go viral, right? It's just by one person saying, I'm sharing this for you, it's a whole new place it goes. I think that if somebody did what I just explained to the top 10 or 20 people connected in Milwaukee, network people in Milwaukee, you'd probably cover the whole city with that job ad. And you know what that costed you?
Nothing.
Nada.
Your time.
Zippo.
Your time.
How good is that? And don't forget, you probably helped a friend.
Nothing wrong with that either.
Right. Exactly.
Wayne, you are such an amazing individual.
Oh my goodness.
We love
Stop.
working with
Will you call my wife and tell her that tonight?
Make sure that she
I
watches
love
this
her.
video.
I'm taking her along.
Have her watch the video.
Thanks for having me.
This has been
It's been a
fantastic.
blast.
Remind us when your next class is
Do we
and how
really
they can
have to
sign
quit?
up.
Do we really have to quit?
You know what?
I was having so much fun.
We're just having fun.
Okay, no, just kidding. My next class is May 24th.
And how can we
And my
get
classes
signed
are
up?
from 5 to 7:30, 2.5 hours. You can sign up on my website. My website is powerformula.net. My schedule's there. Love to have you. It's really what you need to get started.
You heard it from the expert. Thank you so much for watching. Again, special shout out to our partners at SIM, powering all of this wonderful opportunity for you to
Thanks,
tune
Kirk.
in, learn a little bit more about how to empower yourself and your career. Dia Trakaifas here, Nailani Services. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to tune back in 2 o'clock. We have Peter Gersh going to be sharing his message on board services for small business. Thanks again.